Hey, it's Lisa with Inspired Wellness Tucson. Today I wanted to introduce you to something called methylene blue. Now this is not something I recommend for everyone, but if you are dealing with chronic bacterial, viral, or parasitic conditions, biotoxin illness, chronic fatigue, long COVID, other long haul issues like antibiotic resistant bacteria, methylene blue is really worth looking into. Personally, I did about 20-30 hours of research on it before I started taking it. So from that, some of the videos that I watched in my research, I have compiled under a methylene blue playlist. So if you're in that category of people dealing with complex chronic conditions that have not been responding to conventional treatments, I highly recommend that you check out the methylene blue playlist that I made. It's full of doctors and researchers sharing what they know about the history, precautions, who shouldn't take it, who it's good for, dosing recommendations. So dive into that methylene playlist and educate yourself. I just wanted to share, there's like 4 or 5 different ways of taking it or ways of getting it. So I wanted to give you just a brief overview so you kind of understand what your options are and what the price ranges are for those options. So I think one of the cheapest ways to get it is to buy bulk powder online. You can get it without a prescription. You just want to make sure that it is the highest grade, pharmaceutical grade, USP grade. You don't want to mess with the lower grades like industrial and commercial grade. Those are not for human consumption. You will poison yourself if you try taking one that is intended for cleaning a fish tank or dyeing blue jeans. Those are not medicine for people. So only pharmaceutical grade is really important. Now, if you were to buy the powder, you would mix it up with water at home to make your own tincture. That can be very messy. It can stain. You'll be staining countertops, staining clothes, probably staining your fingers for hours, if not days. They do also make tinctures available inexpensively online. You can get a dropper bottle that looks like this, like a 1 ounce bottle of methylene blue liquid is about $25-30 on Amazon. And there are other websites too that you can find it on if you don't want to support Amazon. I had kind of mixed results when I tried taking the dropper. The first maybe 3 to 5 days, it felt really helpful. And then I went through a period of several days where I just felt awful. It might have been die-off, but after about 5 days of feeling really bad, intuitively my body was like, I feel like I'm just swallowing blue dye. This doesn't feel like a therapeutic medication. So I backed off the drops, and then I switched to the trochees. So these are not methylene blue trochees. These are a different kind of trochee, but I just wanted to demonstrate what they are. So trochees are like little square lozenges that you can cut into different sizes. So these squares I cut, this is 1/4 of the size of the full-size trochee, if my fingers can grab it. So this is a tiny little dose right there. So this would maybe be like 4 milligrams of a methylene blue trochee. If this were methylene blue, it would be a really dark, intense electric blue color. But with the trochees, they are best if you have liver issues. Normally, if you swallow a pill, it has to be processed through your liver. That can take maybe 30-45 minutes. And if your liver doesn't work that well, you may not be getting all the benefits. With trochees, you actually tuck them between your gum and your cheek and just let them melt. They melt over 80 degrees, so they're gonna melt really quickly in your mouth, and they enter your bloodstream like that. So I found when I took trochees the first time, I put a little bit, it was maybe 1 or 2 milligrams that I tucked into my mouth, and within 1 or 2 minutes, the pain that I had had persistently for 2 days just lifted, and I felt so much better. Unfortunately though, because they melt over 80 degrees, the company Troscriptions, where you can get them without a prescription, they had not yet mastered cold shipping when I ordered it from them. So I got it completely melted when it came in July, when it was over 110 degrees every day. Surprise, surprise, it arrived totally melted. So it was impossible to properly dose it. So I ended up getting my money back, canceling my subscription, and asked my doctor to call it into a compounding pharmacy. So There's two different ways that I have found it comes at the compounding pharmacy, and there are differences in price, so I wanted to break that down for you. And not every compounding pharmacy makes methylene blue, so you may need to call around to several to see if they do. And of the ones who do make it, there's two very different types of formulas you'll find. So this first one from a very affordable compounding pharmacy in New Jersey, this is just powder inside of a capsule. This is 10 milligrams, very small capsule. But I found when I swallowed it, I didn't really feel much happening. It wasn't that magic that I felt taking the trochees where boom, it kicks in and you feel great. So I started playing with opening this up in different ways. So I opened it into lemon water with a little bit of stevia. That felt more effective. I felt it kick in pretty quickly. And then the winner was when I opened it into a smoothie that I had mixed MCT oil into. When it's combined with oil, it does the best job of targeting the nervous system. So with tick-borne illness and the viruses that I deal with, those attack the nerves. So if you're mixing it into oil, you know, the nervous system is very fatty based. There's a lot of fat in the brain and myelin, nerve sheath and stuff like that. So it's most effective at treating the nerves if it's mixed in oil. So this bottle was a 2-month supply and it cost me about $110. So 55 bucks a month, not bad. The shipping was like $15. They don't have to cold ship it if it's just powder. And the winner, but the most expensive one, is from a compounding pharmacy in Cedar Park, Texas that specializes in brain health products. And so they have the highest grade. Their pharmaceutical grade methylene blue is compounded with olive oil and sunflower oil in a phospholipid complex. So this is called liposomal delivery. With this delivery system, it's already mixed in with oil, so it's targeting the nervous system the most effective way. And this is the capsule size for both 10 milligram and 25 milligram capsules. You would not want to open this up. It would stain everything. It's an intensely dark blue oil when it's mixed like this. So you just swallow it. And you can take it with or without food. So methylene blue helps improve mitochondrial function. It both assists in oxygen utilization and has antioxidant properties, so that's very unusual. It donates a lot of electrons, so with biochemistry, that just makes it really effective at helping the body work better, helping energy get produced more effectively. It's antiviral, antibacterial, antiparasitic, so people dealing with like long COVID or chronic Lyme disease, that's treatment resistant, where they still have it after years of antibiotics. Methylene blue has been used with a great deal of success in those cases. So the downside with the dosage of getting it through this compounding pharmacy is that it's the most expensive form I found. I had sticker shock. My doctor originally called in a prescription of like 2 or 3 5 milligram capsules a day, and they were going to charge me over $350 for 1 month supply. So when I expressed sticker shock to the lady on the phone, she said, you know, if your doctor changes it to where it's 2 10 milligram pills a day, that'll actually cut the cost almost in half. So they ended up charging me a little over $350 for a 2-month supply. So it was a lot more than I wanted to spend, but it was the most effective medication I may have ever taken in my life. So I would still say it was worth it. I don't know that it would be worth $360 every month, but $375 every 2 months felt a little more doable. But again, that is a huge difference from $25 for a little dropper bottle that you can buy on Amazon. And of course, through the compounding pharmacies, you do need a prescription for it. So you need a doctor who is methylene blue literate, and that is a small number of docs out there. But they do exist, so you can do some Googling of doctors who prescribe methylene blue, see what you find, compounding pharmacies that do methylene blue, see what you can find. But if you want to dive into the research and hear it from doctors and not just a health coach, I go to my methylene blue playlist that I created for you guys so you can start to get the information you need. What's the history of methylene blue? Who should not take it? What are the cautions if you are taking it? You know, are there other drugs you need to stop taking? et cetera, et cetera. And they also, in those videos, they do talk about dosing guidelines, so that is really important. I recommend starting low and going slow as far as building up your dosage. I started at just 1 or 2 milligrams a day, then graduated to 10 milligrams once a day, then after several weeks or a month, 10 milligrams twice a day, and after another month or two, I jumped to 25 milligrams twice a day, which is my dosage now. So at that dose of 50 mils or higher, it actually also has properties of breaking down biofilm. So biofilm is this hard polymer shell. It's like plaque on the teeth, and tartar on the teeth is one type of biofilm. So if you imagine in the body, even harmless bacteria do create some degree of biofilm to protect them. It kind of creates a little ecosystem for them to have the conditions that they prefer inside of our bodies. But especially with pathogenic bacteria, especially if you've been taking a lot of antibiotics or other medications, they build up a really hardy, thick biofilm that makes it impossible for your immune system to even detect the bugs underneath, and it makes it impossible to treat them because the herbs and antibiotics that you're putting in the system are not getting through that shell. And then bacteria also have a mechanism called an efflux or efflux pump, where they identify this is poison to me, and they can literally pump the antibiotics out of their system so they are immune to antibiotics. So that explains why I was taking antibiotic year-round for way too many years, a shocking number of years, and it wasn't fixing the problem. It was just causing autoimmune issues and leaky gut and all sorts of problems. So if you've been on the roller coaster of constantly taking antibiotic and then you're super sick again a week after you stop taking it, I would definitely recommend Methylene Blue. And once you build up to those doses of 50 milligrams a day or higher, you are also breaking down the biofilm, which is allowing you to get to those pathogens that are hiding under it. So I hope that's a good overview for you. And let me know if you have any questions, if you are struggling with biotoxin illness yourself and want to learn ways that you can detox from it and different kind of unconventional methods to handle it better. Let me know. I've been down this rabbit hole for many years in my own recovery, but I'm very happy to say that thanks to Methylene Blue, I've been taking it for the last 3 months, just a little over 3 months. It's been a huge game changer that is helping me start to feel much more normal a couple years earlier than I expected. So check it out. I hope it's as miraculous for you as it has been for me.